past 2 weeks, you've been reading about a bad brag. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. When you look around, wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today? That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
Now the World Series shifts to New York, the city of awesome skyscrapers that seem to stretch unending as far as the eye can see. And Yankee Stadium must be included in this immensity of steel and mortar. New York fans never lose interest in the series. August Busch Jr., president of the St. Louis Cardinals, is indeed a happy man with his first National League pennant winner. Mr. Busch and his wife Trudy are out early to watch the Cardinals practice. Jim Bouton and Kurt Simmons are the starting pitchers in the third game. Rookie Mel Stottlemyre relaxes following his victory in Game 2. It's a perfect day, and the rippling flags look beautiful against the blue sky. A huge crowd of 67,101 fills the stands. Everyone is at attention as the color guard, representing all branches of the armed forces, is in center field for the flag-raising ceremony. The game is scoreless going into the Yankees' second. Now Kurt Simmons faces Elston Howard, and the Yankee catcher singles in the center field. With 2 out, Pepitone had walked. Simmons gets one over for Cleve Boyer, who drives the ball into left field. It caroms around the curving wall for a double. And Howard scores with the first run of the game. As the Yankees take the field in the 5th inning, Bouton still is protecting a slim 1-0 edge. He pitches to McCarver, and Tim opens with a single to right. Mantle fumbles the ball, and McCarver dashes on to second base. Simmons, who has been pitching superbly, is at bat. Bouton pitches and knocks his cap off. Frequent occurrence with him. Simmons slashes the next pitch at Boyer. Cleve dives for it. Can't hold on. The ball caroms away. And McCarver continues home with the run that ties the score at 1-1. Now it's the Cardinals' turn to try to hold off the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th. Barney Schultz, the veteran knuckleballer, makes his 3rd straight relief appearance of the series. And the first man Barney must face is the dangerous Mickey Mantle. The Cardinals watch intently while Mantle flexes his muscles with a few quick swings. Schultz turns loose his first knuckler. Mantle tears into it with a terrific cut. Shannon races to the fence, but it's a futile gesture. A tape measure blast crashes into the 3rd deck in right field. What a wallop. This is the fantastic sort of moonshot that sets Mickey Mantle apart among sluggers. It also shatters Babe Ruth's record for most World Series homers, number 16 for the great Yankee switch hitter. The home run not only wins the game for the Yankees 2-1, but gives them a 2-1 lead in the series.
The American League Championship is Chris Chambliss. Walks to the plate. Chambliss, a sacrifice fly to left field for a run. Fielder's choice, a double and a single. Bird and Mangori are warm in the Kansas City bullpen.
Chambliss is so hot he's got his shirt unbuttoned. He's in heat.
Mark Littell delivers high drive, hits it right center field.
That's gone.
It is gone.
Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant for the New York Yankees. A thrilling, dramatic game with overtones of that great sixth game in the World Series a year ago, and then the seventh game too. What a way for the American League season to end. A spunky young Kansas City team. Look at them mob Chris Chambliss. What a season he has had. What a series he has had.
And right now you're looking at a sign that says it'll never be the same without you, Thurman. We love number 15. Here is the owner of the New York Yankees, George Steinbrenner. George, direct question. I was in your clubhouse. It was like a wake. Some of the players emotionally drained, virtually all of them. Did you ever consider canceling either last Friday night's game or tonight's game?
Well, Howard, I think we're all emotionally drained in the Yankee family, and yes, we did. But Bobby Mercer spent the evening in the Munson house Thursday night, and he came to see me Friday morning when we were talking about it with the Orioles in the league, and he said, Diane asked for one thing, that Thurman never quit when he was hurt, and she wants us to play, even though everybody on that ball club was hurting and has been for 4 days. She just didn't want him to quit. They're Yankees, and that we don't quit, and they don't quit, and so the determination was made that because of Diane's request to the team that we play, and you'll have to admit we've played them right to the wire every game.
Then the Yankees have not given up for this season. The trading of Rivers was not a give-up sign.
Not at all. The Yankees never give up, Howard. We proved that last year, and we've had more adversity than any team I've ever seen this year. But the fellas got up this morning at 5:30. They've been up all day. They're drained emotionally. They're tired, but they were where they should be. They were where they wanted to be, with Thurman right to the grave and right to the end. And that's the way they are, and that's the way Yankees are.
You're done in yourself, aren't you?
Pretty much.
I want to say this to you publicly because you deserve it. A, I know you wanted Diane and the public to see the Yankees tonight. So again, and I mentioned this previously on the telecast, thank you for lifting the blackout. And you're a battler.
Well,
and good luck to you.
We'll battle back. Don't worry about us, Howard. Anybody thinks they're going to walk over us this season, got another guess. Remember I said that. They're Yankees.
Thank you.
Bobby tonight is 0 for 3, struck out, fly to right, and line to short.
Second time up, he hit one to deep right, but hit under. Fell by a fraction of an inch to put it out.
That gets Tippy Martinez back up in the pen, too, along with Sammy Stewart. Well, the Yankees, the last 2 innings, their rally going, but they've had 2 outs. He got Spencer to strike out to end the 6th inning, and now he's got Mercer with runners at second and third. 1-0.
Well, that says a lot, doesn't it? 0 for 15 with 2 outs and runners on base.
A good pitch, and you know if you're standing out there facing Bobby Mercer right now, he's looking for some kind of a pitch from the middle of the plate in that he can try and jerk out of here. That's Den at third. Randolph at second. Well, at least that he can drive somewhere. He did drive it down the line. If it's fair, it is gone.
I said he was due to break out of it earlier in the game. He got his pitch from the middle inside, and so we have a ball game. This is the man who broke down this morning in the middle of his eulogy at Thurman Munson's funeral services. A close friend of Thurman Munson's from his earlier days as a Yankee. You could just see that he was ready to erupt.
Now there's Weaver going to the mound. You look at it again. And he got it all.
And as George Steinbrenner said earlier, when he came on live with us, there's no quitting that team.
It's a sacrifice and an error on the pitcher. It was Mercer that put the Yankees back in the ball game with his home run in the 7th inning. Let's see if they try to take the bat out of his hand now and put him aboard. No, at the moment don't indicate it. They will pitch to him. Breaking pitch is in for a strike. 3 left-handers in a row that Don just mentioned. What they're going to do, Keith, they'll give up the run for the out. They don't want to do anything. They're not worried about cutting the tying run off. Nope. Worried about the man out of second. That's exactly right. That's the all-important run. Randolph is the winning run. That's foul. And Martinez has the edge at 2 strikes.
Little bit of tension. What a worn and drained ball club. Going against a statistic that's incredible. 62 out of 63 Baltimore victories when they went into the 9th inning leading. Now, on the brink of being tied, maybe beaten.
The 2-strike pitch coming to Mercer. Ball is hit down the left side. It's a fair ball going to the corner. Randolph turns at third. He comes to score. The Yankees win 5-4.
And so the New York Yankees, still the world champions, in an absolutely thrilling game. Look at them out there on a day when they buried their team captain and leader, who tragically died at the age of 32 last Thursday afternoon at the Canton-Akron Regional Airport. And the hero, Bobby Mercer, one of 2 eulogists for the Yankees today in Canton. The man who broke up, who couldn't go on. Munson, his leader, his friend. The man who meant so much to Bobby Mercer in the formulation of his own career. And it's almost symbolic, without, as I said earlier, being maudlin. They won this game for their team captain. There's another look at it. And what a finish to a ball game that became more than an ordinary ball game, Keith, and you know it. Emotion won this game.
Bobby Mercer knocks in all 5 runs.
The Pine Tar game was one of the most bizarre events one could cover.
All right, here's the challenge. Brett with the bat and Gossage with the ball. The tying run is at first base and 2 out.
So George steps up, and I'm thinking, I am not going to give this guy anything to hit. And he gets the barrel of the bat out and hits a BB.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's gone.
Bruce Gotcher threw a high fastball, and I hit a home run on the seats, and I ran around the bases.
And now the Royals have the 1-run lead.
Billy Martin came out and checked the bat.
Billy Martin and the Yankees want the bat.
He's got too much pine tar, and you are not allowed to have a substance of any kind above the trademark.
I sat in the dugout next to Pat Sheridan and Al Zeke, and the next thing you know, I'm sitting there, and I said, if they call me out for using too much pine tar, I'll run out there and I'll kill one of those SOBs.
That is the plate umpire, Tim McClellan, with the bat in his hand. Now they're going to measure it across home plate.
McClellan lays it on home plate, motions, he's out, and then all hell breaks loose.
Well, the Yankees win it. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out. And
His team is bad.
Brett went bananas. I mean, he jumped out of it, man. He charged his home plate, and as a matter of fact, I thought that he was going to kill that umpire.
he is out and having to be forcibly restrained from hitting plate umpire Tim McClellan.
You know, it was the start of something that, you know, I will live forever with. I'm the pine tar guy, and it's not a bad thing to be remembered as.
You never go to a ball game that you don't see something you've never seen before.
Buck Showalter and Tony Clollinger are prepared. Meanwhile, Jim Abbott sent to go to work. Kenny Lofton leads off the ninth for the Indians, and he bunts foul. The fans don't like that.
It's part of Kenny's game, and he's got to do it. Boggs is cheating even closer to the bat than he was the first few times that Lofton came up.
Lofton has 16 bunt hits this year. Out of 157, he is 6th overall in the league in hits. Bunted and fouled the first pitch. Takes strike 2. 0-2.
Abbott has not lost 1 inch of movement on that fastball. That ball really jumped.
He had a great one there for the second strike on Kenny Lofton. Here it is. He drops down a little bit.
Oh, my.
And missed, says Ted Hendry. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He did this to Tomey earlier in the ball game, and it slides outside by inches.
The 1-2, and a bouncer over the head of Abbott to Gallego. 1 out in the ninth. Gallego to Mattingly. He's 2 outs away.
Gallego makes this look easier than it really was. Look at where it goes. Abbott, I believe, thought that was going to be a base hit, but Mike, playing him up the middle hard, got rid of it in a hurry. As fast a guy as there is getting down the first base.
Here's Felix Fermin. Fermin 0 for 3, and Abbott starts him with a strike. This is the 4th no-hitter taken into the 9th inning this year. Chris Bosio finished his off. He got one for Seattle. This one drops a little low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And in these situations, Dwayne, the springs in the legs of those defenders behind Jim Abbott are wound as tight as they can be. They are really intent on getting the best jump possible.
The 1-1. Fermin with a bouncer foul.
The change.
And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Guzman went 2 outs into the ninth. Johnson, Randy Johnson of Seattle, went 1 out into the ninth. Too close. So the count stands at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fermin victimized by a great play in the 4th by Gallego. Lines this one foul into the stands. Fermin grounded into a double play in the 1st. Then Gallego turned in that backhanded play on the ball he hit in the 4th inning. Grounded to 3rd in the 6th. And the count is 2-2. Abbott's pinch. Fly ball. Left center field. Long run. Bernie Williams. He's there. 2 outs in the ninth as Bernie Williams tracked it down into left center field. With this catch, the fans are on their feet. Two outs. Jim Abbott has a no-hitter. 2 outs into the ninth, and he'll have to face Carlos Baerga. Gene Michael pacing in the booth upstairs. Willie Randolph exhorting Jim Abbott on. Carlos Baerga 0 for 3 today. Baerga 5 out of 26 lifetime against Abbott. And the pitch is in for a strike. Indians have not had a man past first base. Baerga batting .318. And a ground ball to short. Velarde. He did it. He did it. No-hitter for Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott throws a no-hitter and shuts out the Cleveland Indians 4-0. Mobbed by his teammates. A big hug from Matt Noakes. Jim Abbott has just no-hit the Cleveland Indians. The crowd with Jim Abbott every pitch of the way the last 3 innings. Abbott had to get one of the better hitters in the American League, and Carlos Baerga to finish it, and he did just that on a ground ball to short. What an emotional moment for Jim Abbott. Mark Connor right there with him. And the fans in Jim Abbott's corner all the way today. A magnificent moment at Yankee Stadium for Jim Abbott, who has just thrown his first career no-hitter.
He takes the pitch down low from Bennis. Andy Bennis gave up 8 home runs during the regular season. 3 of them by right-handers, 5 by left-handers. This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run. Don Mattingly. His first postseason home run.
1,785 regular season games, and that's a home run trot. Gets a fastball that Bennis tries to go down and in, and Donnie Baseball drops ahead of the bat. 4 for 6 in 2 games. He doesn't put the mustard on it like Sierra. He runs around the bases the way they used to.
And if you're the Braves, you want to at least give them a good finish. You want to put a little pressure on Mariano Rivera.
A ball to Brian Jordan.
You do not want to go quietly here in the 9th.
There's a strike. Mariano Rivera, who remembers fashioning a baseball glove out of cardboard in his native Panama. Looking to finish the World Series at Yankee Stadium. His manager Joe Torre says he's so automatic it's almost boring, and I love it. Strike 2 swinging. He hangs in.
Everyone talks about his overpowering fastball and his great cut fastball, but the thing that makes Rivera so tough is his control. He very rarely gets a ball in the middle of the plate. He's always on the corner.
Hit back to him. He spears it, and they're 2 outs away. And someone has run out onto the field in right. And the security forces take care of that. Clemens and Knobloch, both of whom have had their critics this year. Both of whom have had big moments in this World Series.
And I think they're all happiest for Roger because he doesn't have a ring. They all have one, and now he joins the circle.
Up and into Klesko, 2-0. The little rally that the Braves staged in their half of the 8th may have deprived Clemens and this Yankee Stadium crowd of some high drama. If he still had the shutout going, Torre would have let him come out for the 9th, quite possibly. That is a small drawback to this entire evening and this entire season.
Well,
the way it's shaping up for the Yanks.
It's probably fitting that Mariano Rivera is on the mound for them anyway. I mean, he has been the guy for them. I mean, he's the guy that gives them the security blanket. They know if they can get to the 8th inning with a lead and even 1 out in the 8th inning, they know that Rivera can come in and close the deal. And he's done that the second half of the season. I mean, no one's been able to touch him. So that is the best security blanket you can possibly have.
Yeah, so if it ends this way, it typifies their season, that's
right,
for sure.
Exactly. That's why it's probably fitting, like I said, that he be on the mound here in the 9th inning. Although Roger Clemens, of course, wanted to be there. He pitched a great ball game for them tonight.
From a pummeling at Fenway Park to quite possibly a series-clinching victory 10 days later at Yankee Stadium. Klesko's bat is shattered as he lines one foul.
Well, he's broken 2 bats here in the last 2 swings, but it's because Rivera's cut fastball. Watch where it starts. It starts on the inside corner. Klesko goes for it, and it just eats him up. It just continues to go up and in. I mean, his cut fastball is just an amazing pitch because he has such great control with it.
Another 2-2 pitch. Full count to Klesko. A little bloop. Back goes Soho to take it.
Well, Klesko broke 3 bats in that 1 at bat. And you see Klesko, Chipper Jones kind of smiling about it.
Atlanta's last hope is Keith Lockhart, who's 1 for 3. To shallow left. The New York Yankees, world champions, team of the decade, most successful franchise of the century.
1 to Terrence Long. Popped up, third base side. Brocious and Jeter both over. Jeter, did he get it? Did he get it? Did he get it? He got it! He got it! They throw to second, the runner tags, and he's safe. Or are they saying he didn't get it? Now they're appealing. The first base umpire didn't know if Jeter caught it. Had to ask the second base umpire, and they said he caught it.
I think the ruling on this play is that Jeter actually takes the ball out of play, which gives you a runner that gets to advance. Watch the great play by Jeter. Battling the fans. No regard for his body, flipping backwards into the seats. Unbelievable, this guy. And if you didn't know before, you have to realize in this series that this kid is one of the greatest players in the game today. Look at that hustle.
And listen to the crowd for Hideki Matsui. They have received Matsui very warmly on this cold opening day at Yankee Stadium. And now he comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th inning. Nick Johnson's at third, Giambi's at second, Bernie Williams intentionally walked is at first, and here's Matsui 0 for 1. A walk and a run scored and a nice defensive play in left center field. The crowd chanting Matsui. There's a strike.
Well, the one thing that Joe wanted Matsui to do is not to try to do too much. I mean, he was getting all this big buildup here in America after hitting the 50 home run. He wanted him to just try to relax, play ball, and not try to do a whole lot. Not try to overdo it for one thing.
Despite his experience in Japan, you would think that his heart is beating through his chest right now. Excitement surging through him. Anticipation, the challenge of having the bases intentionally walked to face you. Two and one. .55, 50 home runs last year in Japan. 3-time MVP. Nubs it foul up the third baseline. Count is level at 2-2.
May not have seen a pitcher in Japan with this kind of movement on it. I mean, Joe Mays has tremendous movement on his fastball. You can see him kind of pulling off the ball. And one of Matsui's strengths is to go the other way. And that's what a pitcher like Mays is going to force him to do, is take the ball toward left center, not try to pull it.
You know, Jim, from what I remember early when we started up at Toronto, the Yankees opening up there, he didn't pull away like he's been pulling away for the last 3 or 4 games. Maybe pulling away because he's trying to hit a home run. He was very solid at home plate and looking for the ball out over the middle and away to try to take it the opposite way and not pulling off the ball.
And the 2-2. He has worked the count full. Well, Mays has to throw him a pitch over the plate, otherwise he walks in a run. Posada is on deck. Yankees lead 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Action in the Twins bullpen. That one's hit deep to right field. Going back, Cadillo looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Hideki Matsui. And the Yankees lead 7-1. What an introduction to Yankee Stadium. grand slam, his first curtain call. Think he has a flair for the dramatic?
Top of the 11th inning now, 5-5. Trot Nixon first up for Boston. Bill Miller and then Mirabelli. Nixon tonight has hit a 2-run homer, walked, struck out, popped up. Mariano Rivera out for a 3rd inning. First pitch swinging, that's strike 1, and Nixon had a pretty good cut at that pitch from Rivera. Nixon has hit some dramatic home runs for the Red Sox. Game 3 of the division series in extra innings against the A's for the first victory in that series for Boston. Last night in the 9th inning to give the Red Sox some breathing room. 0-2. This will be pitch number 40 for Mariano Rivera. Nixon trying to get something started for the Red Sox in the 11th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. One out. At the plate, Miller. And a squirter up the middle. A lot of spin on it. Soriano makes the play. 2 out. And now it's Doug Mirabelli who took over behind the plate when the Red Sox had to pinch run for Varitek in the 9th inning with Damian Jackson.
The difference between the 2 pitchers right now, Wakefield is just like a starter. Rivera is a stopper. And in all probability, unless he gets a 1 or 2 pitch at bat, this would be his last inning.
Strike 1 on Mirabelli. The last time Mariano Rivera went 3 full innings was in September of '96. That was when John Wetland was the closer and eventual World Series MVP for the Yankees when they defeated Atlanta. And Rivera was his setup man. Mirabelli went. It's 0-2.
You've got to start it early, so it's tough to hold up when the ball's not a strike.
That's who's left for the Yankees in their bullpen. Contreras, White, both pitched in yesterday's game. Weaver hasn't even warmed up in this series. Still 0-2 on the Boston catcher. 1-2. The Yankees in the bottom of this 11th inning will have Boone, Garcia, and Soriano. Three shutout innings from Mariano Rivera sets up the bottom of the 11th in Game 7. Still tied 5-5. Throughout, although the Boston Red Sox and the fans through New England, they'll tell you they were 5 outs away in the 8th inning, leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Boone, a hero in Game 7.
What better place to take a tour of Yankee Stadium than to start right here in Monument Park? Our tour guide for today, Tony Morani. Are you ready?
You bet.
You're going to tell me everything.
Oh, you got it, right.
Okay, blank canvas, so I've got a lot to learn about this, and I know there's a lot of history here.
A lot of stuff, you bet.
So start here.
Well, first of all, Monument Park is the most exclusive part of not only Yankee Stadium, but any sports arena for that matter. There's no other like it. How our organization chose to acknowledge the contributions of some of their players was in a few different ways, either through retired numbers, plaques that you see on the back wall, but monuments. Those are special.
Yeah.
These monuments that you see right behind you were actually part of center field up until 1973.
I'm a little confused. Field of play. Now, didn't players kind of run into them, or was there a problem with that?
Well, being that they were so far away from home plate, it was very rare that a ball would be hit behind the monuments. But I remember Frank Howard hitting one behind the monuments, and Bobby Mercer was playing center field, and it was quite odd to see Bobby dodging through the monuments to retrieve the ball. So these 3 monuments that you see here were part of center field up until 1973. And then there was a massive renovation that took place here in 1974 and 1975 as the Yankees played in Shea Stadium for 2 years. And they came home to a completely renovated ballpark. And the monuments were taken from center field and placed in their present site.
All right, Tony, there's so many great names when you talk about Yankee baseball. We would have to have like 12 hours to get through all of them. So there's a couple that are at the top of the list, and I know you really want to talk about this guy, Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. In the 16-year period from 1949 to 1964, the Yankees went to the World Series 14 out of those 16 years.
Mickey Mantle achieves his 3rd home run of the series.
He was the backbone of that great dynasty.
We've got so many legends' names up here, but when you're talking about personifying pinstripes, do you think that there's one that did it more so than Joe DiMaggio?
Well, I don't think anybody did it any better than Joe D. Joe D said there is absolutely nothing like putting on the Yankee pinstripes. As a matter of fact, in 1949, he stated, "I want to thank the good Lord for making me a Yankee." Out of the 13 years he played, he led the Yankees to 10 World Series, of which they won 9.
The Yankees win their 3rd straight World Championship.
And then the greatest of them all, Babe Ruth. He came to the New York Yankees in 1920, and he responded that year by hitting 54 home runs, which even by today's standards is a lot.
Isn't that crazy how if you've never watched a baseball game in your entire life, you can hear these names and know who they are? They're just legends.
Yeah, they become sort of household names in some parts of the country.
That's awesome. All right, tell me about the facade. Now, that just gives it a little classy look, isn't it?
The facade was designed in 1922 with the thought of opera houses in mind.
Oh.
That's why you see that classic scallop design. This was symbolic of some of the opera houses in those times, so they wanted to give this stadium an air of dignity.
Tony, right now we're standing on very historically significant ground here at Yankee Stadium. So a little word association. If I say baseball's version of the Gettysburg Address, you say?
Lou Gehrig's farewell speech here.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
We had a full house that day, and till this day you'll see it on a lot of highlights, and it was very tearful, a somber crowd, and having to had witnessed what Lou's contributions were to the game and how he had to go out. And that was the first great pregame ceremony to be held at home plate.
One of the most famous speeches ever. We're in somebody's box. Whose box are we in?
This is the boss, Mr. Steinbrenner. He entertains a lot of dignitaries, entertainers, other sports figures that come to the game. If you ever watching television and you see people seated in a rather leisurely fashion, this is the spot. The President of the United States, Game 3 of the World Series, stood right there.
This is where you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's behind us? Maybe we can get there.
We have the print media directly behind us, and that's where the press, the local press seated in the front, then you have the auxiliary press seated in the second and third rows. And we're going to go check that out now.
Okay, here we go. This is just all the writers, right?
Right.
You guys have had your share of international players come through here. How have you seen the press areas change in that regard?
Oh, a tremendous difference. Since Hideki Matsui came aboard, he's had a tremendous influence on the game of baseball, not only here, but in Japan also. Now that he's here, you see a tremendous influx of Japanese writers, cameramen. They come to every game now, and it lends to the theory that baseball is becoming more and more of an international sport.
I have noticed these signs everywhere with the arrows and the colors and the lines, and they have saved me while I've been here at Yankee Stadium. So tell everybody what they are.
Well, they've saved a lot of visiting ball players also, besides yourself, Michelle. Back in 1996 in the World Series, some of the players that were coming in here for the first time have trouble finding their way to the clubhouse and the dugout. And we had to make it clear how to approach the dugout and the clubhouse, hence
Ah, the pretty arrows. For someone like me with no sense of direction, I just follow the line.
very important.
It's very important.
Yep.
Let's go. Blue line, Yankees.
This way.
We're going.
Can't miss. As a matter of fact, this is the only way to go when you
I'm
come
very
to
strict
this
about
place.
the blue line, Tony. I like to follow it completely where it goes.
You did it.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Yankee Clubhouse. All right, I'm just going to let you tell me everything I need to know about this place.
This is the inner sanctum, maybe the coolest spot. It's the Yankee Clubhouse, as you could see, with the Yankee logos. You could see the facade that we had spoke about before, the signature of Yankee Stadium. You see here's Derek Jeter's locker. And the locker adjacent to Derek Jeter's has no name on it because nobody uses it. And the reason that nobody uses it is to hold on to some of Derek Jeter's fan mail, folks.
Some.
Gets inordinate amounts of mail, as you can see it right here.
What percentage of that fan mail would be from the lovely young ladies of the world?
I would say at least 90%, at least 90%.
One of your newest and biggest name acquisitions, Alex Rodriguez.
A-Rod.
Yep.
Right here. Arguably the greatest player in the game today. But right behind you was where another great Yankee, Joe DiMaggio, held court.
Wow.
And as you can see, as we come down this aisle here, we see Jason Giambi, Gary Sheffield, and this locker where you see the number 15 and nothing inside belonged to Thurman Munson. Thurman Munson was killed in a plane crash about 25 years ago. He was the captain of the Yankees at that time and thought of so highly by the organization that they decided that they weren't going to use this locker anymore in honor of Thurman's contributions to the team. Before Thurman had it, it belonged to Roger Maris, another great Yankee. So this locker right now is what might be called a shrine here in Yankee Stadium.
It's a great shrine.
Yeah.